Today I will be showing you how to make these. They're basically both cakes, very similar mixture. I just kind of split them off and made two different things with them. So stay tuned. This is pretty messy. I've pretty much got it all over myself right now. But stay tuned to see why it's pretty messy and what I did with them. So unlike my last baking video, I'm slightly less prepared for this one, and I'm going to be measuring the ingredients as I go. Sure, it's not a big deal, but I'm less precious about this being spot on because I don't think that it's quite as important that it's a perfect measurement, whereas with the cookies it really is. So anyway, the basic ingredients for this, or the basic measurements that I always remember, are 6, 6 and 2, and that is 6 of all of the ingredients and 2 eggs. But over time I've decided to add 3 eggs. Not add 3 eggs, add 1 egg to make it 3 eggs. So I'm going to add my sugar first of all, and this will be 6 ounces. I just find that the extra egg, makes it fluffy and just awesome. But you know, each to their own. I know lots of people will give me notes on my baking and tell me all the different things that I'm doing wrong, but this is how I make them and I like them. Next, I'm adding 6 ounces of butter. And as with the last one, softened butter is definitely easier. You can use regular butter, you know, straight out of the fridge if you want to, but you're kind of making things difficult for yourself. And then I'm going to add my 3 eggs. Now the eggs that I just bought from the supermarket are actually really small. That's a small egg. I'm used to slightly bigger eggs, so I might end up adding another one, but we'll see. I'll use my small 3 eggs to begin with. I'm going to mix all of this together and then I'm going to get my electric whisk out. You don't need an electric whisk, but again, easier. Now it's time for the 6 ounces of self-raising flour. Ooh, make sure that I start the measurement again. Or slightly less than 6 ounces now. A little accident. I also like to add a little bit of baking powder, and to be quite honest, this is kind of habit at this point. Somewhere along the road, I decided to add some baking powder to this recipe, and I now daren't take it out because I think that something's going to change and it's not going to be quite as nice if I do. So the flour needs folding in. Obviously don't go straight in there with an electric whisk because your kitchen will be covered in flour. But in a moment I am going to take an electric whisk to this again. Once I've folded it all in and put in some vanilla essence. I'm going to use this liquid vanilla essence, which is actually really nice anyway, and I'm also going to use some of this posh stuff that I found at Asda, and it's Madagascan Vanilla Grinder. This is basically vanilla pods. Haven't used it yet, but vanilla pods, how do I open this? Who knows? Ooh. That are all kind of chopped up in there, and then in theory I can grind them into, quite technical problem, I couldn't figure out how to open it. But anyway, essentially it grinds in little flakes of vanilla bean or vanilla pods or whatever. So in theory this is going to give it a real authentic vanilla taste compared to your regular vanilla essence. I did whiz this once with the electric whisk for a second, but now we're all done. I'm going to put some of this mixture into some cupcake cases. And I'm going to reserve some of the mixture to do something a little bit special to. But I'm going to use these cupcakes to meter out the plain mixture. So these are just going to be vanilla cupcakes. Okay, next I'm going to add something kind of bizarre. This is sugar sparkle dust, and I got this from Asda, and basically it is sparkly sugar. So I'm going to put in quite a lot of this. I know it is sugar, but it's very fine. It's kind of icing sugar, and I'm hoping it might pick up in the cake. I have no idea. That's an experiment. We'll see. The main thing I'm going to add in is these, and they're sprinkles. They are kind of red and green and white, a little bit sparkly. And this is kind of my take on the little loaf cakes that you get at Christmas time that are usually mixed. I'm loving that sparkly dust. I can just kind of see it in the air. It's amazing. Not that that's going to pick up on camera. You're just going to have to take my word for it. But those kind of Christmas loaves that have little things in them, normally like cherry and little colourful fruits, But obviously, you know, not everyone likes fruit cake of any kind, and so I'm going to do it with sugar because everyone likes sugar, right? So I'm putting these hundreds and thousands in Christmassy colours in the mixture. And this super sweet variety of mixture, and I can kind of see a pearlized look to this. I'm remotely hopeful that it might show up in the batter, but it probably won't once it's cooked. But I'm going to put these into these cute loaf cases that I found on eBay. They're actually Christmas themed, I'll show you them in a second. But they were just so cute. I was looking for something a little bit different, to cupcake cases. I was considering making one big loaf cake, and then I saw these and thought, wow, they are amazing. So that is how I'm separating them out. That's how I'm going to tell the difference between the two. I've put them into these mini loaf cases.
Hello, I named Milo. No, you not Bubble.
Well, about 12 minutes later at 80 degrees, and this is what these cakes look like. And I have acquired...
That's a cake.
That's a cake, yeah. I've acquired an assistant. Milo, are you going to be my assistant?
Yeah.
Yeah? To do these cakes?
No, that's...
And it's a good job that only he is going to be eating these cakes.
Don't cut them.
Yeah, exactly. Don't touch them.
Okay.
Okay, as you can see, Milo's already eaten one. Milo, what did you think of the cake? Was it nice?
Yeah.
It was nice. And we wanted to eat one because I wanted to see whether you could see the sparkle. Hey, stop touching the cakes. But no touching the cakes. No, but no touching the cakes. You can have one in a moment when we're done. But I wanted to open one up and see if you could see it, and it was definitely a very subtle iridescent kind of sparkle, so nothing major. But we're going to ice them now.
That's mine.
Okay, good. So, we're going to ice them differently, Milo. Do you want to know how we're going to ice them?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're going to ice these with regular frosting, which I've made here. If you're interested, I will do a whole video on this because I find it quite tricky to make. But basically, it is butter and icing sugar whisked together with a little bit of vanilla essence, and basically as you're whisking it, it looks like it's just crumbling and it's not going to work. Milo's totally lost interest at this point. And then it just becomes this. It's really bizarre, but anyway, we don't need some more sugar, definitely do not. So we have the frosting here, and then I'm kind of torn as to whether or not I should do regular, like...
Sit in your chair.
Okay, I'll sit on my chair. I don't know whether or not we should do regular drizzly icing on these, or kind of icing that's like raked over with some frosting on top.
Just do this.
Just do this, okay. So I'm going to start with these because I'm sure about these ones, and I'm going to pipe some icing on top. Okay, now this is going to look more difficult than it actually is, I promise, but basically I have a piping bag with a nozzle on the end. I use plastic ones because you don't have to wash them out and they're just disposable and easier, and I'm all about making things easier for myself. But it just takes a little bit of practice. It's really not difficult at all. It's more the actual icing that I find difficult to get right. But then you can buy icing ready-made and then put it in one of these piping bags. So if you like doing this part, which I do, but hate all the mess of the icing sugar all over your living room, kitchen, then you might like that. It's not ice cream, sweetheart, but it looks like ice cream.
Oh,
doesn't it?
Like ice cream cake.
It does look like ice cream cakes.
Cakes. It's be yummy. Ice cream cake.
Do you think they look yummy? Yummy ice cream cakes?
Is it yummy ice cream cakes?
Yeah, I actually did once make these cakes and put flakes on top of them.
Look,
Look, even more ice cream cakes.
There's snow in them.
Oh, do you want to put some snow in them?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we could do that.
We can.
Okay.
We can do that.
We can do that, yeah.
We can.
Go on then, squeeze that back. Wow, well done.
Finish it.
Well, there's no icing left. So do you want to have this last one?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have that one.
You haven't got some more cakes. You have got some more. Ah, it's yummy.
Now this, I actually find way more difficult. I've made some kind of drizzly icing. And finding the right balance between too watery and too thick is really quite difficult, I think. So I'm gonna hope for the best with this one and just drizzle the icing over these cakes. Okay, change of plan. The drizzling didn't really pan out, so I've actually made a little bit more, and I'm gonna try and do like a little covering of the entire surface of these little cakes with white icing. I actually have a little sample of something called non-melting icing sugar that I'm gonna try and put on top of these, and let's just see whether it really is non-melting. It's supposed to be, it's supposed to look like fake snow.
No.
Yeah, snow. Again, this is an eBay purchase. And I was actually going to purchase, if you watch my vlogs you'll know, I was going to purchase the fake snow. And I ended up buying some other bits and pieces from this particular lady that sells on eBay. And she sent me, really bizarrely, a sample of said fake snow. So let's just see. It's really not melting.
Really not melting.
Yeah, are you impressed, Miles?
No.
So these are the finished products. This is a pretty basic cupcake. I've just put some sparkly snowball things into the icing to kind of finish it off. And this is the sparkliest, messiest thing ever. It's going to be insanely messy to eat, but I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure the children are as well. But I hope you enjoyed this random baking video and my journey to trying to discover how to decorate the things that I made. But otherwise, I will see you guys in our next video. Bye!